What is going on? It is Thursday night, and we've got another episode of Collecting Uncensored, and I have an amazing guest that I can't wait for y'all to possibly meet or just and you want to get to know more about their collection. Like, this guy here has been collecting since he was a kid. It's all in his name. What's on the comic rack? Mr. Akins, the one and the only. Like I said in the IG post, you know him, you love him. Did somebody say Mr. Akins? So, or Mr. John Byrne, because he's a John Byrne lover as well. But let's go ahead. Let's bring our guest out and greet him like we always do. If I can find that video. Hold on one second. Act like I've done this before. I thought those were great.
It. I love it. That's one of the things I was looking forward to, was seeing that.
As parting gifts, I give all my guests their intro video, so you'll get that after the show now, and you'll be able to use it to whatever you want. So have fun with that. So how are you?
I am great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm sipping on a little something, and yeah, gonna talk comics, so it's gonna be fun.
I love doing a live stream when I'm in the same time zone.
Right?
What time is it there?
Right.
What time is it?
Doing the math, exactly. Even though you're a math teacher, doing the math.
Yeah, I seem to have more difficulty with Eastern time zone than I do figuring out what time it is in Germany. Well, not Germany, but like the other parts of the U.S., I can rattle those off pretty quick. But for whatever reason, when the Eastern time comes around, I'm like, I don't understand it either. I don't get it.
I guess it's like adding that hour or something. I don't know. All right, Mr. Akins, before we get going, let's say hello to the chat. We have got Brandon Mon Comics. Did someone say Mr. Akins?
They did.
We did. So we're excited about it, though. Thing Comics, what's going on? Yes, they did, directly from Alabama. This entire show tonight from Alabama. Let's see. And direct from the Netherlands. Wait, you're not still in... Oh, well, there you go. Were you in the Netherlands?
Who, me?
Who was? I guess you. I'm not sure.
Oh, he may think that I've already gone on vacation, but that's next. That's next week.
Gotcha.
He may think that I had already gone, but...
Nice. No, up at work. Oh, maybe they're in the Netherlands. Thing is, night shift and absolutely nothing to do. So been on eBay, etc. for 5 hours. That's nice. Right? Fill in those holes.
Yeah.
That's what work is for, right? Lettuce Comics. Is this the cool kids table? Sure. Sure. That's what they all say, isn't it? Doug, what's going on? Thank you for coming and hanging out with us this evening. Appreciate you. A couple of legends just strolling. No, I'm no legend at all. Mr. Akins absolutely is, but not me. Not me. It is now that you're here, right now, in the present. Submitting before. Oh, that's no bueno. That's no bueno. I watched one of my videos. I'm horrible at this. Watch how good. Oh, no. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. Dale of Suspense, another part of the Iron Legion right here. Dale of Suspense. That's what we should have. We should have you and Dale and Digger Jim, like all the Iron Man guys. Let's see. Comic Codex in a separate browser. Nice.
Oh, nice.
Jonathan, Collectibles Astonished. What's going on, man? Thank you for coming and hanging out. Am I missing anybody? Mr. Akins, this is the way.
It is the way.
Are you a Star Wars fan, Mr. Akins?
I'm more of a Star Trek fan than Star Wars, but I like both. I like both.
I knew it. I knew you were a Trekkie.
A
Oh,
Trekkie.
by the way, I wore my Iron Man shirt for
I see
you.
that. I wore my D&D
And
shirt.
well, and I brought the Game of Thrones cup because I knew you
See?
were a D&D guy as well. So yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, I went all out for you.
Brought out the fine china to do the dance
Hey,
live.
you saw it. You saw it. You didn't get to pay. I'm just saying, great things here. Great things. Bright with I have confidence issues says, I need more of that. There you go. He needs more
Yes.
of it. So let's oblige him. If one's not good enough, two better be. Oh, man. Brian LCS says he's lurking. I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. Dale throwing out the link like a boss. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Cody with Where'd You Get That is in the house as well.
Cue the music.
Appreciate you coming. Do what?
I said cue the music. Every time Cody comes on, his voice and the music in the background, I love it.
Right? Right?
love
All right. Bottom tier collector. Most anticipated guest for me. Yes. Yes. So this show is full of nerds. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Dope Comics is in the house. What's going on, man? Another Southern brother right there. Appreciate you hanging out with us, sir. Thank you for tuning in. No stack papers for this show. That's great. All right, Mr. Akins, we have said hello to the chat, and we'll, I assume, as we go on, say hello to other people. But we got to start the show off with one important question. So, we know that everybody that comes on here loves to collect, but there's so many ways to collect. Keys, first appearances, cover buys, readers, characters, artists, and writers. And there's more than one way, don't get me wrong, but how do you collect?
My answer would be yes to all of those.
Nice.
I mean, keys. I try to collect some keys. I bought some keys when I was younger, so they happened to turn into keys later on. I'm doing runs. Well, I just finished a run. Just finished my Iron Man run. The only thing I don't have in my Iron Man run is annuals 1 through 4. That's it.
Oh. Do I have any of those? I'm going to look and see if I have any extras.
Okay.
I'll see what I have.
Cover buys. I like covers. There are stories. I think the real reason I wanted that Volume 1 run of Iron Man is I wanted to read those things.
Okay.
And I've been an Iron Man fan since I was a kid. And back when I was teaching, the teacher next door to me, we would have to put stuff on the wall when we're teachers. Hey, here's this formula. Hey, here's this poster, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. The problem is when testing comes around, we had to take all that stuff down. It only took 1 year of me putting that stuff up and taking it down. I said, I ain't putting stuff up I have to take back down again. So I'm going to put up stuff that can just stay up. So I went and I bought a bunch of posters. I had superhero posters plastered all over the wall.
Nice.
And the one question students always asked, who is your favorite character? So I had to, after a while, you're just going to have to say, hey, this is because they won't take, well, I like Captain America and I like Iron Man. No, you got to choose, Mr. X. You got to tell me which one. And so I finally chose, and it was Iron Man. Iron Man is the top of the list.
Okay. So, but you said you've been liking Iron Man since a kid, which honestly, coming from me, it's a little weird. I'm not going to lie. But I'm curious as to why. Like, what as a kid had you interested in Iron Man and then it made that switch into your adulthood?
As a kid, I think it was the aesthetics of the character. It was the classic red and gold armor.
the fact that he made it, it gave him all these
Yeah.
powers. He could do all this stuff. So that, at some level, that you could make yourself into a superhero type situation.
Mm-hmm.
If I can make this, then I can do the hero stuff. And he could do all the
Right.
cool stuff. He could fly. He could shoot, repulsar beams out of his. And he just looked cool. I thought it was just a really cool thing. I mean, when I was a kid, I would make armor out of cardboard. So
Got you.
and so
Okay.
I think later on as an adult, what continued for me to like Iron Man, it's going to sound bad, but I think, when you list Iron Man's enemies, at the top of the list himself, sometimes
Oh yeah, absolutely.
my own worst enemy. You know, he makes these mistakes and he has to be redeemed for these mistakes. I said, I can relate to that. I
Yeah.
make these
Yeah.
mistakes and I got to go and fix them. So, his story is a story about redemption. And I like that story. Like in the movies, I think the movies did a really good job of showing his character development, his character arc in the movies, that,
Oh, absolutely.
why he changed into who he was, and I can really relate to that. It's like, hey, there's things I need to work on to be a better person. And
Oh, sorry. No, you can read it. I apologize.
and that's one of his flaws.
Cheers.
So I think that's what kept me going as an adult as to liking Iron Man. So,
You mentioned the armor aspect of it. So was Dungeons and Dragons before Iron Man, or was Iron Man before Dungeons and Dragons? Because I could see there being a link there too.
Iron Man was before I had gotten into comics before I'd gotten into Dungeons and Dragons. So
Okay.
the first comic books I ever saw were in the late 70s. So Dungeons and Dragons, I didn't see it till probably about 1980, 1981. So I was already reading comics, stealing comics from my brother. That's where I saw my first comics. I would go into his room, not supposed to, take his stuff, that kind of thing. But I know where I'm going to be talking about. As we were going down, we would live about 40 miles from the beach. And as we're going to the beach, there was this bookstore, and my mom would buy books that she was going to read over the summer once school was out. Well, the guy there had comic books, and what he had done is he took the comic books and he stapled them shut so you wouldn't sit there and read the comics.
Oh.
And so you can go through my collection, and I think I've done videos of it where I go, oh, I can see my mom bought me this going down to the beach because it's got 2 staple holes in it right where you would.
I guess that's cheaper than a bag and a board.
Forget that, So she would buy me those, and then at the beach, there were places to buy comics. At my hometown, I don't remember seeing comics till maybe the 80s, but that's where I started seeing comics, at gas stations and places like that, and buying them off the rack and seeing them there. So,
okay, cool. Mrs. came in. Hello, honey. Love you bunches. So we gotta say hello to her. Cliff came in as well. We gotta say hello to him. What's going on, Cliff? Thanks for coming hanging out with us. Thing Comics says, and you just answered why the current state of the MCU is lacking. No growth. Yeah, I could see that. I can see that. Are you a fan of the MCU?
I'm a fan of the early ones, not so much the later phases.
Okay.
And like he says, I think all the characters had great character arcs and growth. I mean, look at Captain America. I'm going to say this. My favorite movies, though, are the Captain America movies. I think he has a great arc in those movies. I really love Winter Soldier is one of my favorite ones of those.
It's pretty solid. It's a pretty solid movie.
So yeah, the current ones. It's funny that when I was teaching, and one of the movies came out, we get like 2 personal days a year that we can use for them whenever we want to. We don't have to like get it approved or take sick days to do it. It's just, hey, you got a personal day, you can use it for whatever you want to. And when those movies came out, I would use my personal day on Friday. The kids knew that if Winter Soldier's coming out on Friday, they're going to have a.
It's movie day for everybody this Friday, guys.
Mr. Akins isn't going to be there. So I love doing it on Fridays. The movie would come out on Friday, and I would go to the very first showing. There's nobody in the theater, it seemed like, that very first showing Friday. And most people are at work. And then I could see it later with my wife. And then she could ask me questions. And then now she doesn't ask me questions. She knows all the stuff in the movies and stuff. But at that time, I'm going to watch it. And then I'm going to see it again. And then she's going to be like, well, who is this guy? And then I could explain it to her without having to, not watch or, concentrate on the movie.
Right. Thank you, Dale. Appreciate that. That's awesome. I agree with Cliff. There's some of the best arcs in Captain America and Guardians.
Yes.
I would throw Iron Man in there. Definitely not Thor. No Black Widow. It looks like they're trying with Hawkeye, but nothing substantial there. They didn't have the rights to be able to do anything with Hulk, unfortunately. So, yeah, I think those are your 3 solid ones. It's Guardians, Captain America, and Iron Man. Let me ask you this real quick, since we're on this topic. You mentioned, it's between Iron Man and Captain America. Mm-hmm. What is it about Captain America that you love so much?
Both of those, because I was a big Avengers fan, so I was reading the Avengers. Both of those were humans. Captain America at that time wasn't really a meta-human at the very beginning. He was a peak human, but he's a little bit more meta-human now. The super soldier, he's portrayed in the movies and in the comic books as being, stronger than a normal human being. But at the time, I felt like they were both self-made characters. Iron Man built his suit, but he's still human. That's how he got his superpowers. Yes, the super soldier formula gave Captain America his powers, but the only thing the super soldier formula did at the very beginning was stop him from his body from creating fatigue poisons. Meaning you could train. You had to train still to get the muscle, to learn the fighting styles, to do all that stuff. The only thing it did was stop, the fatigue poisons from building up in your body to stop you from training. Meaning you could just run a marathon. You would still, you wouldn't get the fatigue of doing it. And so I felt like both of them were self-made heroes in a sense, in a group with gods and androids and mutants. They were the two people that were just really normal self-made people. The mutants didn't do anything in a sense to get their powers. The god was born that way. The android was created. I felt like these two had to actually put in the work and the effort to become what they were in a group. They were the two humans in the group, and they always seemed to have because they were the two humans, they seemed to relate to each other. It mattered on what writer was writing them, but they seemed to relate to each other more than they did to the other ones, because they were just regular guys in a sense, as opposed to gods and mutants and androids.
Yeah. No, I got you. Okay. So are you a Batman fan then?
Yes. I like Batman.
That's not convincing at all.
I didn't collect Batman. It's funny that you mentioned that. I didn't collect Batman, but I read Batman when I was a kid. There was only one other person I knew that collected comics, and he was the DC guy, and I was the Marvel guy. And
nice.
So what would happen is I would just read his stuff. I didn't have to buy the Teen Titans. Nice. I didn't have to buy Batman. I didn't have to buy all these other DC titles. I could just read his and didn't have to buy them. Now, the funny thing is, we still play D&D together. Yeah. And 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were playing, and he watches my videos, and he said, I've got all those comics out in the barn out there, and they're just sitting out there. Do you want those comics? I said, sure. I mean, I'll take them. I'm really not going to take them. What I've been doing is I've gotten 2 boxes so far, 2 long boxes, and
Yeah.
I've gone through one of them and rebagged and reboarded all of them. Let me go ahead and say this: bags and boards work wonders. You just don't realize because if I show you pictures of what this one box looked like, it looked horrendous. I'm like, there's nothing in there. And I'd pull it and it was all bent, they're all bent over like this for 20 years. And I said, these things are going to be in horrible shape. And I'd rip it, you come apart and pull the thing out. I said, okay, let me pull this comic book out. I pull that comic book out and I'm like, this comic book's not dirty. It just needs a press, really. And if I sit them if I put boards in them and put them in a box, they'll kind of flatten out a little bit. So I've gone through one of his boxes, and I've gone through the other box. I'm starting to go through another box. The second box looked like it had water damage, and I'm like, "Ew, this was going to be even worse." But I'm pulling these out. These weren't folded over; these were straight, and these had boards on them, and they're some of these could probably be 9.0s, really easy. No spine ticks or anything. I'm like, wow. So bags and boards work, kids. They do.
Any staple holes in any of them?
No staple holes in any of these. No.
That's funny.
The funny thing is, there are some things that are missing in his that I know he has. And I think he thinks his ex-wife may have taken some of the keys out. I don't know how she figured out what the keys were. I mean, it may be minor keys. Like, the one I just went through, it had X-Men 1, X-Men 2. Ooh, X-Men 3. Here we go. Omega Red. X-Men 4 is missing. 5, 6, 7. I'm like, that's odd that number 4 is missing.
Yeah.
And the same thing with his Teen Titans. I know for a fact that he has when Nightwing, when he changed from Robin to Nightwing, I know he's got those. And I'm looking through his Teen Titans right now, and he doesn't have some of those. I'm like, looks like somebody may have gone through his, collection and pulled some stuff out.
Do you think he would have had a Deathstroke, or is that the same run that he was?
Yeah, he would have had the first death, because I remember reading that. I know he would have the first Deathstroke. I know he would have the first Nightwing. I know he would have all those, and I just haven't, in this second box, had some Teen Titans in it. And I'm like, unless they're in another box somewhere, unless he made a key box, and put keys in this other box.
Yeah. So. Huh. Well, all right then. Well, out of all the things, because you collect everything, what's probably your go-to right now? What's your favorite? Because I know we all switch depending on the season or whatever the case is. What's your kind of this is what I'm into right this minute?
I seem to be right now at this moment, bronze, copper, Marvel superheroes. So if it's a bronze, copper, Marvel superhero, that's really what I'm focusing on right now.
Okay. Is that to read? Is that to just collect because of the characters? Is that what's the hit on that?
I think it's more nostalgia. I think I'm trying to collect what I may have missed out on. Ooh, I didn't get these. I saw those, or I'm missing this from that era because I may have, like we said, I went down to the beach over the summer. I collected some, but as soon as I went back home, I wasn't, I didn't get any. So there's gaps in there. So I'm filling in gaps and that run of Iron Man. So now that I've finished that run of Iron Man, I'll probably still collect some, some cover artists, and other things, but it still seems to be primarily focused on the bronze, copper age of Marvel and superheroes specifically. Because there was horror and there was other things, but it seems to be more focused on the superheroes than anything else.
You got anything you can show us?
What would you like to see? You want to see some Iron Man? Might as well.
I want to see your favorite. What gets your juices flowing? That's what I want to see.
What gets my
flowing
juices?
material?
Okay.
And let's say hello to Manny while you're doing that. Hey, Manny. He says class is in session.
You have those comics, and I think I've said this a million times, but I'm old and starting to tell stories over and over again. the old man stories.
Yeah.
But when your house is burning down and you can only grab one comic, I'm always picking this one up.
Really?
And the reason
your house is burning down, that's the one book you're gonna grab.
Why? Because I specifically remember buying this off the rack when I was 10 or 12 years old, riding my bike 5 miles to the junior food store and picking this sucker up right here. It's just a nostalgia thing is all it is that. And don't believe the rebel propaganda that this is the worst cover ever. It's not. I love this. This cover. Yeah, this cover is what made me buy the thing. Now the Michael Golden art inside is absolutely wonderful, but I mean these little panels telling you what's happening inside. It's like, oh, back when I was a kid, of course, I want fights. I want superheroes fighting. When I'm 10 years old, and this had epic fights in it. So this is the one I'm picking up just because it encompasses my childhood in a sense that, hey, these are the things that I was looking for when I was a kid. So yeah, when my house is burning down, I'm picking this one up.
I agree. That's a solid, like, you have an actual memory of going and getting that exact book. Like that's, like everybody in the chat's saying, like that is for sure. Absolutely. Because you can't get that back. Like an Iron Man 1 or whatever else, you can always pick up more of those. But you can't get that book with that memory back. So no, that's awesome. Stellar.
And that's the reason this one is staying with me. Now, I did buy one that slabbed.
Nice.
So I got a slab version of that. Let's see if we can get theirs a little bit better.
Oh no, you got it. Well, what am I doing? Hold on. Let's fix this. Hot damn.
Too much light.
No, you're good. That's it.
I can see how people don't like the cover. Now, I'm gonna get a chance.
There's too much going on.
Huh?
There's too much going on.
There's too much going on. I like a lot of stuff going on.
Hey, to each his own. There you go.
All right. I mean, you got your own little mini stories. You got your own little thing right here going on. Your own little thing right here going on. Down here. All that.
That's what it was. It had Cap and Iron Man at the top of the book. That's what it was.
It's probably even got John Byrne floating heads here.
Oh, that's right, because you are a corner box guy too. Yeah.
And so I've got a chance to I've looked for interviews with Al Milgrom to see if anybody's ever asked him about this one, because Al Milgrom did this cover.
Okay.
And about, hey, do you feel this is a really bad cover and stuff? So I don't know. Yes. I'm going to if I meet him at a convention, I don't know if I'll need to ask, hey, how do you feel about this cover? Do you feel it's as bad as what everybody
That's funny. Let's see. Bottom tier says, I do like group photo shots. My favorite thing about George Perez. Cliff says that he's certainly like a lot going on. Bottom tier says he's never considered that cover ugly. I've just considered it too busy. So there you go. Another one likes busy. You know, Mr. Akins has that Rogue Peach animated series posed framed somewhere. That's great. Let's say hello to John's Comics with Kids. He says, how uncensored is this? Asking for a friend. I mean, R rating. We could go R.
I mean, we can go R. We don't have to.
We don't have to. No, I think I'm more or less holding back my F-bombs that would make it go R, out of respect for Mr. Akins. But like, yeah, I mean, I think it's like 3 and you get an R rating. So,
especially after looking at that cover, putting that cover up and the F-bomb hits immediately.
That's great. Oh, Oh, John snuck in here on me. Hey, guy. That's great.
Favorite John Byrne cover?
Yeah, you're Mr. Akins. You're like Mr. Byrne.
You would think, again, this one has nostalgic feels to it. But this is my favorite John Byrne cover. I love this cover. In fact,
he homaged himself with that cover too, didn't he?
Do what?
He homaged himself with that cover as well on a DC book, didn't he?
Yeah. So here's this one.
Okay.
And then here's the homage.
Now, so the FF came first.
FF came first because he worked on the Fantastic Four first, and then he once he rebooted and redid. So that's the homage.
Cliff right on it. Nice, nice. So which one is your favorite though?
This one right here, still my favorite. Now, when I was a kid, let's see when this one came out. When did Superman number 8 come out? 1987. So I loved this cover and this cover so much that as a kid, I traced this cover and did not trace him because the proportions are exactly the same, and put Superman in it and created my own cover because I loved the cover so much. And that's the only way is to put these two together and create the ultimate cover. But I love the story. So you like the
Superman pose, or you like the Superman being there better than you do Gladiator?
Yeah, better than Gladiator, but it did make me a Gladiator fan. So once this one came out, I really liked Gladiator. So
I like how disproportionate Mr. Fantastic is in that cover. Like how he's just exhausted, so he's stretched out. Like I think that's really cool. I've never paid attention to who's actually on the Superman 8 of that to see are they stretched out as well? Like how is that?
Well, it's Brainiac 5, so it's the smart guy that he's got in his hand, blocked up here at the top. Sun Kid, right. It's always difficult to right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the Invisible Boy right there. So it's kind of, it's a true homage to, it's got characters that kind of have the same powers as the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, got you. Legionnaires match their FF counterparts. Nice.
Exactly.
Nice. Cliff and Mr. Akins might be becoming best friends.
We already were best friends.
Right? Right. Let's not BFFs with Cliff. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
And now I need that Superman beating block.
Yeah.
OMG, I used to trace those covers too, says Cliff. Nice. Thing says, yes, that FF is awesome. Byrne has that in a Finnish version and US version, and might even have a UK version. Very cool. Bottom tier says that his favorite Byrne is Action Comics 587.
Let's see if I put that one over here. See if I put 587 over here. No, I didn't put 587. I didn't put 587 over there.
It's not your favorite.
No, I like it.
Question for you, since we're talking about Byrne. So, Byrne's a writer and an artist, correct?
Correct.
What do you like him most for, though? Do you like him for his art, or do you like him for his writing? And I'm being those kids in class. You got to pick one.
You got to pick one. I guess I'm going to have to go. I'm trying to think of comics where he's written and somebody else has drawn, and how I felt about those, as opposed to the ones that he's drawn and some ones where he's written, somebody else has drawn, and then where he's drawn and somebody else has written. I like him better as an artist than a writer. I'm gonna have to, if I have to pick.
Okay, nice. What made you? I know this is like on the spot. I'm making you do all this, but what pushed you over the edge? What was the that made you be like this?
I'm trying to think of some stories where somebody else drew, and I don't think they weren't as good as when he he did both, or they weren't as good as when somebody else wrote and he drew. But now I'm sitting there thinking, right now I'm thinking of the Avengers run where he drew and Jim Shooter was writing. But then I remember that was early in his career, and Shooter was letting him do some writing too. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of a specific story where he wrote it and somebody else drew it, and I was like, it's okay. But I can't think of one where he's drawn it and somebody else has written where I was like, I just said, it's okay. It was like, yeah, I still liked it.
I got you. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Bottom tier has a question. Maybe you will know. I have no idea. Actually, Cliff knows. Did he do the art of Man of Steel? That was
Yes.
your back left. There. Oh, you got like multiple copies. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Cliff agrees.
Did he do the art?
Nice. I actually just picked up that set.
Yeah, these were, I don't know. I think this is what, the third most printed comic book ever. I know X-Men 1 is like the most printed one.
Yeah.
I think this is like second or third because they were rebooting the character. So there's
surely it's behind Spawn.
Yes. That's the reason I'm saying I think it's the third one. So yeah, this thing was printed in nauseum. You can find it in dollar bins. That's what I love about it, that you can just find it in dollar bins. Are Mr. Akins and I the same age? I was born in 1969.
69?
I am a Silver Age virgin. Barely got into the silver.
Akins. Jeez and peace.
Jeez, Manetti, how are you still functioning?
No. You're just almost as old as my parents. So. Oh, let's get back to comics.
Okay.
Bonnecher says you look great, though. I have to agree with him. I do have to agree. It's got to be that like Florida, Alabama sun right there that you're at. I'm just saying. Like,
I've always looked younger than my dad. Always looked. That's what everybody said. They couldn't always guess his age. So if you act young, people will think you're young. That dude's collecting comic books. How old is that guy?
Is that a back cover or is that a?
This is the back. This is the front cover. This is something I picked up just because of the artwork. I love this rendition. This is Byrne of the Fantastic Four.
That's almost like the first Virgin cover or something. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know when the first Virgin cover was, but
like this that people probably have never seen before. Hey, I just noticed that there's a copy of Man of Steel back there too, right over there.
Yeah. That's what I was like. Oh, you got one over your left. Oh, never mind. You've got two copies. I apologize.
There probably may be 3 copies in there. Sometimes if I do giveaways, which I don't do very many giveaways, I'm like, well, I can always give away those because I've got a bunch of copies of it. And I bought
Cliff is older than me too.
Yeah.
I'm so young.
I'll even look for these things on eBay, and the whole set. I got a whole set for $1.
Oh wow!
Yeah, people were bidding on it. And I was like, I'm just going to bid $1 and let it ride. And then 2 days later, I checked. I was like, well, dang, I won.
I just acquired that set through a trade, so I haven't made that video yet. But yeah, that's one of the things I traded for was to get that full set. So you do look great, Cliff. You do. I never would have guessed that. So yes. What is your comic rack made out of?
What is this comic book rack made out of?
I think maybe he's talking about the one behind you.
Oh, the one behind me.
Yeah.
These are those plastic containers that you can get.
Oh, nice.
So, and the reason
Okay.
I got them is because they stack really nice and they
Yeah.
don't warp. You know, your cardboard boxes after a while are gonna warp from all the pressure.
Right.
And so I went ahead and spent some extra money to get these plastic ones. And then I just stick a comic book on the outside of it that tells what's in each one of these. Like this is some Hulk, the
Yeah.
Immortal Hulk's in here, and then the Ed McGuinness run is in here.
Nice.
And then
Nice.
Namor's in this one, that kind of thing.
Cool. Mine. You are now the youngest person that I know. There you go. You have beat me dramatically.
Dramatically.
We're all doing it. Thought you're older than me. Oh no, I take that back. I take it back. You're younger than me. You are actually younger than me. You're my brother's age. There you go. See Bizzle in the house. What's going on, sir? Thank you for coming.
Couching and slouching. My wife loves his title. He's like, I'm couching and slouching with C Bizzle. She's like, that is the best name ever. She loves it.
There you go. You and Cliff, y'all are the same age. Close to it. Close to it. Nice. Nice. I apologize, Mr. Akins. You had a book.
Oh no, we're having fun. This is what we're supposed to be doing.
Well, yeah, but what book did you have? I want to see it now.
Oh, I mean, what do we want to look now at? This is another one of my favorite John Byrne covers right here from the Fantastic Four. I love this Doom.
Oh, nice. That's a Doom cover nobody talks about. You know what I mean? Like I've never seen that Doom cover before, but like you hear always like Doom is extremely popular right now, and I've not seen anybody say anything about that cover.
Really, this is one of my favorite from John Byrne.
Like I see more people talk about the one where he's like ripping the paper, or it looks like he's ripping the cover or whatever. Like I see a lot of people talk about that one, but that's a cool one.
Yes, I love this one. I just love the way Doom looks on this one. What else?
I agree, C Bizzle. That's a good Doom cover, right? Right. Look at Dale. Look at Dale. We're getting everybody's age. Now we just need social security numbers. I'm just playing. Nobody put your social security number in the chat. Don't get me in trouble. Jeez and Pete's. That Secret Wars cover he has gets lots of love. The one where he's fighting, or the one where he's melting, or the one where isn't it Secret Wars where he's fighting the Beyonder? Or is that
he's fighting the Beyonder, and a lot of his armor is. You want me to get that one?
Is that an FF book, or is that a? Well, you didn't have to get it, but I mean, now that we're talking about it, you know, if you want to get it, like if it's just right there. I'm just glad you got pants on, Mr. Akins.
I know. This one?
Yeah, that's the one I was talking. Is that the one you're talking about, Bottoms here? I feel like that's one that everybody, the Secret Wars covers that everybody likes. Let's see. Dale.
8675309. You have to be a certain age to even know what that means.
I understood that. Check that out. Is this my first time seeing what's on the Comograph face live? Possibly. You've gone live with Big B McFly. You've done a lot with Big B.
I've done a few with Big B. I've been on, Alan the comic book geek. He does his interview. I did the interview with him. I did the interview with Absolute Game of Nerds. I did their interview.
Okay.
And I've been on Alan's maybe 3 times every once in a while because Big B will be on there. And then sometimes Big B will say, hey, you got, you want to come on with Alan and that kind of thing. And then I think I've been on Mon's Big Five Live.
Big Five Live. Yeah. Shout out to Mon, Brandon.
So, every once in a while I'll do a live.
Something like this. Cliff says pants are optional for him.
Yeah.
That's I'm good to know. I'm glad to know that, Cliff.
Cliff not to stand
And
up.
that will make sense later on in the show. Yep, that cover has been around on YouTube. Yeah, it has. Yeah, it has. See, Cliff knows that song.
Let's see. What else? Oh, I've got some. Let's look at this one. This is another Fantastic Four cover I really like. I mean, this is a slab.
Oh, yes. That's a top 10 right there.
Yep.
Well, not anymore, but it was.
It was.
It was. Frankie Ray. What about that one? Is that I assume that's a burn cover?
Yeah, this is a burn cover, and I just really love the way this one looks. This is the reason I got one of these slabbed, is because if I really like the cover, I'll probably get it slabbed. It's a key, but it's one of my favorite covers. Again.
So do you like slab books just for keys, or is it more just like if you really love a book, no matter what it is, you would potentially want to get that slabbed?
If I like the art like this one, then I want to preserve it, and it looks really good in the rack. It looks really good in the rack. You put these slabs in my rack, these slabs will fit in there really nice, and it just looks really nice. So I'm like, if I can find pieces of art that I really like, because this is what I consider this now as a piece of art, and put it in a slab, and I like it that way. So that's the reason. Now, I want to get something. If I'm buying a high price book, yes, I want it probably to be slab. That way a third party has kind of looked at it and said, yeah, all the pages are here, stamps hadn't been cut out, that kind of thing. And
got you.
But then I don't care if the grading is that, great. I mean, this is a 9.0, which was fine to me. I mean, it's better than the copy I bought when I was a kid. I don't really hardly see any flaws on this.
No staple holes.
No staple holes on that one.
No, I was just saying, Cliff, that I want to make sure that I don't ask you to get up and walk away from the camera per the next per your visit to Collecting Uncensored. That's what I was referring to. Or any live for that matter. I need to make sure that I'm like, hey, you got everything at your desk, right?
Right.
But filling pants on YouTube. That's funny. This is great. So if it's a piece of art, or if you consider it a piece of art, you're good with getting it slabbed. Are you a CGC only guy, or does it matter to you?
Yeah, right now I'm always CGC.
Okay.
I sent this one I bought off of eBay. I've sent very few books off to CGC. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have them pressed. I didn't have them cleaned. So most of them didn't come back very good. But I'll show you one that I sent off that I had as a kid.
Yeah, let's see it.
Back pretty good.
Bottom tier says, if there's CGC slabs, you might want to put a UV protective layer on the face of the slab for true preservation. Yeah, I don't think any of them really have much UV protectant on them. I want to say Immaculate Comics has gone through and actually tested all the UV protection in the CGC, the CBCS. He actually has like numbers and all that kind of stuff. And I tend to believe a lot of what he says and what he's showing off, because he's like a straight up chemist. So like he knows what to do, it seems like, to like check all this stuff and whatnot like that. Pretty cool channel if you haven't checked it out.
So they're saying that this isn't giving it much UV protection.
Right. Yeah, no, the cases themselves don't have much UV protection at all on them.
Okay.
So, and even like the comic capsules, he got a hold of one of those as well. And like he showed that they do have like more than what a slab does, if I remember watching it correctly, but it may not be to the extent that they claim that it has. So, I don't know. Take it for what it is. It's a cool channel. You should definitely check it out if you haven't already.
So here are two that I sent off. Neither one of these were cleaned. Neither one of them were pressed. And so I got a 9.2 on this.
Oh, nice. Nice. Newsy on
Just
top of that? Yes.
so, because everything I'm going to have is going to be a newsie because that's what I was buying
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
up until 94 when I found a comic book shop in Pensacola. I was buying stuff off the rack. So this one came off the rack, or I would have people for Christmas get me subscriptions to the comics, and the
Okay.
subscriptions would be newsstands when they would come.
Oh, cool.
They wouldn't be
Cool.
direct.
Yeah.
And because we had a post office box, they didn't have to crease it and stuff it in the thing. The post office box was big, so everything remained
Nice.
flat. So, and I slabbed this one just because, again, I love the cover. It's an iconic cover.
Right? No, that's awesome. And have you ever thought about like have you ever played with the idea, contemplated cracking, pressing, resubmitting, that kind of stuff? Like now that you know the stuff that you know and may have made a few friends that are cleaners or pressers, things like that, have you contemplated like maybe I should just send this out?
Especially this one. I mean, no clean, no press. It came a 9.2. I'm like, if I clean and
Right?
press this thing, no telling what it could be. I mean, at least get one, be a 9.4 or 9.6 at least, I think.
Does it have any color breaks that you can see?
No. The only issue is down here in the little corner. There's a little ding down here in the corner. See if you can
Okay.
see it.
Mm. Oh yeah, yeah. I see
See
it
it?
now. Yeah.
It could definitely use a press. A press would do wonders on this. But there seems to be the cut is not even. It's kind of, crackly when they actually cut factory.
Mm.
You can see little pieces there. That's probably another reason it got 9.2. But other than that, there's no color breaks. There's nothing on the spine right there except for that one little ding right there. And what do they
Yeah.
give nowadays? One ding is you can have one ding on something and still get a 9.8. I've got a 9.8 over
Right.
here. Let me put it this way. This is a 9.2. And I'm
Yeah.
looking at this and I got a 9.8 over here of something. And I'm like, it's got a ding there. It's got a little thing here. It's got a thing there. And I'm like, this is not a 9.8. I'm certainly not cracking that sucker open and saying, this is not going to come back a 9.8.
Yeah, I got one that came back that has like a giant dent in the middle, and it came back a 9.8. But I was like, well, it's a 9.8. It's what they said it, so I'm leaving it. Bottom tier says, really? So the companies that claim they protect against UV light aren't living up to the claim. Interesting. It didn't. It was by Immaculate Comics. It was proven to be UV resistant, but maybe not up to the point that they said it was. Again, don't quote me on that. I'm going off of memory here. You'd have to go back and check his video. So, but it was really interesting though. Lettuce Comics exactly Lettuce Comics, and you're in it for a minimum of $34 for one book. Yeah, I mean definitely minimum because $25 to grade if you don't have a membership, another $5 for the ordering fee, so that puts you at 30 right there. You got to mail the book in, that's going to cost you at least $6, and then you got to have the thing sent back, which is another at least $15 or $20. So if you're going to send books in, for me anyways, it's always made more sense for me to send 3 books at one time. I get
Now,
most of my bang for my buck on 3 books at a
does your
minimum. At a minimum.
does your LCS allow you to send books in? I've given my LCS a book to send in with his order, and that way I only had to pay for my part of it, not the
Oh,
entire thing.
nice.
And so that way
Nice.
but I also had to wait because he got a big, huge lot together, and I was part of the lot. And he said, "Well, you realize it's going to be a while. You got to wait for CGC, and then I've got to wait until I get a certain amount to make it worth my while to send off."
Right.
So I didn't know if your
Right.
LCS would do that as well.
If you're talking to Lettuce, then maybe, but if you're talking to me, no, because I don't really have an LCS. So I do all my own cleaning. I do all my own pressing. I have an account with CGC, and I do all my own stuff with them because that's the option that I have. I mean, I guess I could find a presser and a cleaner, but I enjoy doing that kind of stuff. I enjoy learning more and doing more with the hobby. I feel it gives me, when I'm looking for books, I have more of a I can look at something and be like, I can press that out. And then so I may be able to get a better deal on a book that I want based off the fact of like I have to work on it a little bit, but in the end I feel like I will have what I want. So I kind of go with that.
This was another one I had when I was a kid, and I sent off.
Oh, nice. Yes, that's a nice one.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't clean press nothing.
Nothing, and got a 9.4.
Wow. Wow. You might get it cleaned and pressed and get a 9.9 out of it now.
Yeah, nowadays.
The increase of 9.9s is insane from what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm kind of
It's just
excited to
odd.
send some books in.
Yeah, it's just odd. It just happens. You know, we're living in a magical time where 9.9.
In CGC's defense, I don't think they were looking for 9.9s. I just don't think that was a thing for them. I think they were weary of giving out 9.9s, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think, you know, because I've gotten some books back where I'm like, how did this not like get something better?
Right.
But that's an amazing book. And a 9.4, that's an amazing book. That being your childhood book, that's awesome.
Right.
Freaking awesome.
That I read this sucker. Now, I wasn't as big a fan. I think you could tell which ones, like that Avengers Annual 10 has been beat and drug. And this one, I probably read it maybe once or twice. And then it sat in a long box being pressed for, however many years and stuff.
Woo! $60 per book. Man, that is commitment right there. Dad burn, Matthew.
Here's another one I sent in. This one wasn't cleaned and pressed, and I think it actually deserves the 4.5 it got.
Oh, nice. And you bought that off the rack?
Bought this off the rack.
Wow.
I'm not surprised this one didn't have
amazing
staple holes in it. I may have got a hold of this one before he stapled it. No, it's funny. Okay, what do you think about this cover? Do you like this cover? Is this a better cover than Avengers Annual 10?
I like it.
It's by the same
weird
artist.
Proportionately, because like she shouldn't be at that angle when he's like up against the wall the way he is, but at the same time, like, I don't know, I like it.
But it's by the same artist. Both of this is Al Milgrom too, just like the other one.
That's fine. That being the same artist doesn't bother me at all. I think it's the depiction that's on the cover that's more of what's going on. Like, there is action, there is something going on. His spider sense is tingling. It's not as busy. I will say that. Like, it's not as busy. You got a lot of black in the background, especially in the sky, like a
almost a negative space type thing.
Right, exactly. So I just feel like it's making you look at Spidey, and then like you kind of see what's going on with Cat above there. That's not the yellow variant, is it?
No, the yellow variant I think has yellow right here.
Right.
This part.
Right, and that's what I was making sure, because like that would have been even more cool, like if it was that. So.
Oh my goodness.
Lost Comics Journey, what's going on, man? He says, what's up, fellas? Good book. I remember when that book was found in dollar bins because no one cared about Deadpool until he became funny. Exactly. Exactly. Not better, just different. Okay. Cool. All right. What else you got, Mr. Akins?
We're pulling out the fine china. We'll pull out this one.
Whoa, is that an off the rack?
This one's not off the rack. I bought this
I
one.
was gonna say, hold up now, don't you sit there.
No, this one's not off the rack.
Nice. And what grade is it? It's 5.0?
5.0.
Nice, man. Did you buy it that way, or is that one that you acquired raw and then sent in?
I bought this one as a 5.0 off of eBay.
Okay.
Most of the stuff, I mean, right now, how am I collecting? I'm either buying from my LCS, I'm buying from eBay, or I'm buying from my comic shop. Or I guess another
You're
tip
my
would
competition
be
on my comic shop.
Yeah. I guess the the other tip would be start a YouTube channel and get in friends with a bunch of people. I get comics from other YouTubers as well. So,
Okay.
That's the 4 places I get my comics from.
Okay.
So we got that.
What is it about? Did you just want that because it was a key, or are you a fan of Vision? Did you like the cover? What was it that inspired you to grab that book?
I like the cover. It meets a lot. It checks off a lot of boxes. Check cover by check. First appearance, check. Character I like, check. So it checked off a lot of boxes. I really like the vision. I even like the fact that this one's pink. Even if it had been his normal colors, I don't think it would have been better. I like the color choices on this. I think it looks really cool.
I would dare say that book is probably one of the best first appearance books simply because of the way the cover is depicted. I don't think that they're like, that's kind of like, I feel like what us as collectors kind of gear towards. Like, if we get a first appearance, we absolutely want that person on the cover. And there's a good bit of those. There's a handful of those. You know what I mean? I feel like that's one of the better ones, though. Like, top 10, if not top 5 first appearance with the first cover as well.
I think like that McFarlane cover with Wolverine, that's an iconic kind of with his claws out like that. I think this is an iconic stance for the Vision because they've used this stance with him a lot. So like you said, it's got him on the cover prominently, and he's in an iconic stance that you would see him later using a lot. So yeah, this
And then it being his first appearance, like that's like all that combined, I feel like makes that one of those books that's like, that's one of the best first appearance books ever.
And for a first appearance, the Silver Age, I don't think I paid that much for it. I mean, I'm not going to pay over. I think I have my limit. My limit on paying for a book is $1,000, but I didn't get anywhere near $1,000 on this book. When I bought it, I want to say it was around $320 maybe when I bought it. I can't remember, because at that time, I think it was a little high at that time. I'm sure it's come down now, but even then I'm not worried about, it's $100 less now. I'm like, well, whatever, I own the book. I don't really.
That's what I was going to say. The whole point was collecting it, and now you own it. Like, it's yours and it's in your collection. So
yes. And it's not going anywhere. So,
what's going on? Comic Addict says, "What's up, everybody? Appreciate you coming hanging out." Phil's Treehouse is in the house. I procured a 58 recently. Nice. I need to keep my eyes out for one of those. I agree with Mr. Akins. I feel like those have been coming down quite dramatically. And even if we get White Vision, I still feel like those may still be an affordable book to buy because people will be wanting that. Was it West Coast Avengers book with the first White Vision in it? So, yeah. Collecting casually. Hated the color scheme when I saw it as a kid. Love it now. I could see that. I can definitely see that. Like, just being off by it as a kid. So, look at him pulling it out. 40, was that 40, 45?
45.
Okay, awesome. I get my numbers mixed up. Nice. Is that off the rack?
This was off the rack. Yeah.
I was gonna say that's about the time period for you, right? So
Hmm.
nice. Now I love that they did that, where it's like his first appearance again, essentially, but did the same pose, the same, like did an homage to that Silver Age. I think that is fantastic.
My my local LCS, when this started getting hot, of course, this was a dollar bin book, and he had a bunch of them in the
Right,
dollar bins.
right.
Well, it got hot, and this guy came up to the store, the LCS, knew it was hot, bought them all, out of the dollar bins, and then told him, said, "Yeah, you need." I think how did he said he put it? He said he made him mad. He said, he said, I had it in dollar bins. I should have checked my dollar bins. I should have been more prudent in checking my dollar bins, but I've got tons and tons of dollar bins, so I don't know everything that's in there. And he said that he put him on the counter, and he wasn't the one that was selling it to him. It was one of his other guys that was there. He bought them all for $1. I think he had like 5 or 6 of them. He bought those 6. And he said, as he's leaving, he said, "Yeah, you need to check these out next time before you sell them." Out the door, and he's like, "Okay." So he's like, "So I'll go to check them." He's like, "Well, dang, those things are, worth something now. I didn't realize they were, So it kind of works both ways with those people that, say, "Hey, I don't like when they check at the counter as to what the prices are." But because other people have burned them, I can see them, I can see LCS is doing that now. Like
that is exactly what I was going to say. Like, don't sit there and be a dick when you just got a stellar deal. You know what I mean? Like, help your LCS out a little bit or something like that. Like, and don't be greedy about it either. Like, grab yourself a few of them and be like, "Yo, you got some more over there. Just giving y'all a heads up. Like, this book is popping off. Y'all might want to go grab those and like put them up." Like,
right. Well, I did that. I did that yesterday. I went to my LCS, and he had a lot of Barkham Asylum, which is the first appearance of the Joker's dog, and they were in the dollar bins. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I said, this probably is still a dollar book, but it may be $2 or $3. So I went through. I didn't go through his entire. He's got tons and tons of dollar bins. I probably went through a fourth of it, and I found 10 of them. And I went up there and I said, "Hey, I want these." I said, "I'm buying these 5, but," I said, "you may want to." He said, "Why are you buying these 5?" Before I said anything, I said, "Well, this is the first appearance. This is the first appearance of the Joker's dog." I said, "I don't know if this thing's going to pop off or not, and this become a $5 book or whatever." And he said, "Well, are there any more?" I said, "Oh yeah, I got these other 5 sitting right over here. You want to remark these?" He said, "Yeah, let me go and check and see." So like you said, I took my 5. I left 5. I said, I didn't check these other bins. I said, who knows what's else in these other bins that you've got out here.
And see, I think that's the fair way to do something. Like, help your LCLs out while they are also helping you out at the same time. Like, it's got to be a two-way streak at some point in time. It's two-way street at some point in time. Like, are you reloading? Is that what this is?
Oh yeah, I'm real.
You're staring me down. Well, what's something else that you're enjoying lately? We've sat there and we've gone through, the nostalgia of everything that's going on. What's like something else that you're enjoying collecting right now?
Have we talked? Well, I mean, we've talked about Iron Man, but I mean, I don't think I've shown any Iron Man comics yet.
Are you here to rub Iron Man in my face? Is that what this is?
Well,
I'm just playing with you. Yes.
Well, I mean, we could have an Iron Man show off. You could like show yours, and then I show mine. I'm sure.
Oh no, I can't do that. No, this is all about you. You win that one. You would absolutely win. I can't. No, I can't do that.
I finished my run, so this is the last issue.
Yes.
Of Volume 1 of Iron Man. That's the last issue, and this is the first issue.
Right, yes.
Volume 1.
Nice. Love it.
So if anybody wants to see anything from 1 to 332, I've got everything from 1 to 332.
Bottom tier collector wants you to do a slideshow type style video showcasing every single book. Now that you've completed the collection, that's something that he does on his channel. He sits there and he does like an entire. Have you seen it? Where like
No, I
he's
haven't
completed his
seen it.
Wolverine, and
Yeah.
he'll
Okay.
show
Yes, I
every
did. Yes.
single book that's in that volume. It's a really cool like idea for a video, but. Yeah, I know he's been like, hey, if anybody else completes theirs, like, do something like this. It'd be so really cool. So,
Do
yeah.
The only thing I've been doing here lately is since X-Men are hot, I've been doing shorts and I've just been going through my X-Men collection. Here's, you can get about 4 issues in 15 seconds for the short. I'm like, here are the next 4 issues. And then 2 or 3 days later, here are the next 4 issues. 2 or 3 days, here are the next 4 issues.
Nice.
And some of them have been popping off and some of them hadn't. It's odd, how the algorithm is for
right.
But
we do have a question. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have a question from Thane's Comments. It says, Mr. Akins, what is your most precious non-Marvel book? Non-Marvel. He didn't say non-John Byrne. He just said non-Marvel.
Right. Non-Marvel. Well, I've got... Since I am collecting John Byrne, I do have some of his earliest works. This is from 1975. He did this one, the mini ghost of Dr. Graves. So I got this one.
Cool. What is that about? That's fantastic. What is that even about? What is the ghost? What is that? What is that book about?
It is a horror anthology, sort of like House of Secrets had Cain and Abel, as or the Crypt Keeper as the guy that introduces the stories.
Yeah,
so this has like 2 stories in it, horror stories.
Okay, so, very cool.
This one, and then he did John Byrne did another one because he got his start at Charlton. This is one of his earlier works too. This is Doomsday Plus One. This
looks like a Commandy ripoff almost.
Yeah, but I think it was
that come before Commandy though.
I think it did. The funny thing is,
wow,
the when did Commandy come out in 74 or 73? Because this came out in 75.
I feel like Commandy's a 20 center. I could be wrong on that though.
Then it may be a Commandy ripoff. It may be. The funny thing is, this story. Remember that movie that came out about the International Space Station?
Oh.
Yeah, that was in 1968. Charlton Heston. Do you remember that movie? Yeah, I do remember that movie.
That's great.
No, this one was a little bit more recent, about the International Space Station, where the Russians and the Americans were on the space station, and then there was a nuclear war on the planet, and then they were fighting each other to take over the space station.
I have completely missed this movie. I apologize.
Yeah, I don't think it did very well, but it's basically the same story on this, is that rip-off homage.
Semantics.
It is
Commandy came 71, 72, just before The Demon.
So then, yes, this is a rip-off. This is plagiarism. We'll just call it that.
Didn't cite their work.
Yes. If you put After the King down here, it would probably be fine.
I apologize. I keep getting you off course. So Russians, U.S., the movie, nuclear war going off on Earth, and they're fighting over the space station. What happens
in this. These scientists go up in a rocket ship right here, and while they're up in space, there's a nuclear war, and they come back, and adventures and weird stuff happens afterwards. They
Did apes take over the world?
no, but there's a lot of robots.
Oh, nice Terminator
It-
style.
it- it's
Like
your
it.
it's your it's your 1970s post-apocalyptic shenanigans with nonsensical. I mean, it is purely nonsensical because the Earth starts to heat up, and the polar ice caps melt. But when it melts, there's frozen mastodons and cavemen. They come back to life. It's just crazy. I mean, any
Nice.
trope you could think of, and then aliens come and capture some of the humans and do experiments on them. And then what else? Then there's underwater people that, since most of the world is flooded, they come up to the surface to see what's going on because all the humans are dead now.
Atlanteans, yeah.
Yeah. So the
That's
usual
weird.
post-apocalyptic shenanigans.
The usual, yeah, the usual. Just anything and everything. Shit hit the
Exactly.
fan. So
I mean, we started off as, hey, what's your most I guess right now that I've got something close would be this one. This is my oldest John Byrne. So
okay.
and
you're collecting that because it's John Byrne, right?
Do what?
And you're collecting that because it's John Byrne, correct?
Yes, I'm going to try to do a John Byrne, collect everything that he's done, everything.
Okay.
So you can go to
that's a lot.
Well, I've got most of it because I collected everything in the 80s and 90s. So
Okay.
really, the only thing I have to collect is 70s and 2000s because there's really not much past 2012. He really stopped doing things there. So I really don't have much to get. It's 70s and 2000s is what I got to worry about. So I got all the stuff we had in the 80s. You can go
Let's
to his
say hello to. I'm sorry. Let's say hello to Perry Comics real quick.
Okay.
What's going on, man? Thank you for coming and hanging out with us this evening. Appreciate you. We're talking Mr. Akins here and all his collection. You were saying you could go to John Byrne's website?
Yes, it's called Byrne Robotics, and there's actually a checklist, and that will give you about 80% of the stuff that he's ever done. So you can just go down the checklist. And so I'm kind of going down the checklist, and every once in a while I'll buy something from my comic shop, usually, because I've gotten everything from yes. And so I'll go down and I'll go, oh, I didn't realize he did Action Comics in this year, and I'll buy those and check those off the list. Whether he's did just the cover, whether he did writing, or whether or not he did both. So, I mean, I can collect. So I'm collecting anything and everything, even stuff like this. This is a superhero thing, and he did the artwork in this thing too.
What is that?
That's a Marvel Superheroes. It's a module, and he did the cover on this one for Alpha Flight.
What's a module?
A module is like an adventure that you take, that you like you play the game, and this is like the framework for the game.
So like a Dungeons and Dragons type thing.
Yes, except it's Marvel Superheroes, and so he did this one.
Gotcha.
I got this one because he did it, and I was looking for another one. He did another one where the Avengers are fighting the Super Skrull, and I couldn't find that one. I'm kind of redoing or trying to reorganize my stuff back there, and so anything that he's done, I will collect and try to like even this. Got a bunch of these too, where he did comic book interviews. It's got some original art in there.
Very cool.
So in this one, there's 30 pages of previously unpublished pencil art by John Byrne inside here.
Nice. That's cool. Bottom tier wants to know, do you have the first John Byrne works yet?
No, because it's he did some work for a newspaper at a university. It's like a magazine, and it's extremely difficult to get. It's like I've got this. Let me see. This will be kind of neat. Let's see if I can find this. Where's this at?
In the meantime, bottom tier says,
Sorry.
my least favorite part of being a collector is knowing you've picked over your LCS for everything you're hunting, and you have to resort to buying online. Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is the first time John Byrne did the X-Men. Drew the X-Men.
cool.
In this.
Okay. Nice.
So I've got
Nice.
this one.
That's weird. It's a Spider-Man and Hulk book. That's his first X-Men. Like that.
Yeah. It's one of those weird things where at the time Jim Shooter was the editor-in-chief, and he was real big on continuity. And this fight was taking place, and the X-Men were like in the same area. So he said, well, if this was going on, the X-Men would know that this was going on.
Somebody who was doing their job like way like on point.
On point. Exactly. So first time John Byrne did the X-Men, and this one is John Byrne's first appearance in a comic book.
Oh, cool. Okay. Nice.
Find the panels.
That's I'm with you on that one thing.
Video about this one. So these people, this guy right here is John Byrne. That's about to get mugged.
Oh, he drew himself getting mugged?
Well,
like that can't be good karma.
He drew himself getting saved by Iron Fist.
Okay.
So
Iron
the guy
Fist.
with the beard
cool.
up here. Let me see if I can point him out. Yeah, right here.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason they say, well, how do you know that's John Byrne? Because later on in the comic, the police are like saying, well, they say, well, who were the guys? And they said, well, that guy Byrne who was attacked happens to be an artist, and he sketched the gang's emblem and did some of their faces, so we know who we're looking for now. That's how you know it's. So if I ever had a chance for John Byrne to sign something, I would want him to sign his first appearance in a comic book, and you just sign it right there on his fist, like right there. That'd be a perfect spot.
Absolutely. No, that's yes. No, you're 100% right on that. 100% right.
I got this one from my comic shop, as you can see with the sticker.
Oh, I can definitely tell the label. I know that label from like 6 miles away. Do you happen to have either his first written work or his first artwork in comic book form?
No.
John Byrne's.
That would be, I think, there was this thing called the Wheelie Bunch or something, or E-Man. I can't remember what it is, but it's really difficult to find. And that Dr. Graves is probably the earliest stuff that I've gotten. His earlier stuff is more difficult to find. The only thing that I don't have is when you're saying, hey, you gotta, if you're collecting all of Byrne stuff, what I'm missing are the X-Men, and that's what's going to be expensive now that, especially now that everything's hot. The Dark Phoenix run, and that kind of stuff. That's what's going to take up a lot of time and money to get those. Although I have been working on some of those. I have gotten some of those, like these. I got this one.
Oh, nice. That's a big boy book right there. Awesome.
And that one's pretty cool. I love that one.
Yeah. That was actually one of my first X-Men books. I love that book. I still have it to this day.
Here we go. This is not a cameo. This is the first appearance of Alpha Flight.
Quest, is that the one where they're like not in their costumes, but they're in like the little panels. Is that the ones
Yeah,
that what it
they're
is?
in little panels, and they tell each who they are. Then there
Yeah.
are a lot of times in silhouette, and then there are 5 panels where Sasquatch is beating the crap out of Wolverine. He's grabbing him, and he's slamming him up against the wall. So I'm like, that's not necessarily a cameo. I don't consider it a cameo. I consider it the first appearance. Sort of like this
I,
one. This would be the first appearance
right. Right.
of Gambit.
No, I'm with you on that one 100%. 100%. Like, and even the whole, like, 180, 181 thing where everybody's like, oh, like, no. Wolverine's first appearance is 181. You see him first, fully, in 180. His first full
Right.
story is 181, but appearance is 180. Sorry.
Yes. I'm sorry. I mean, I was real big on when they first came out, the official handbook of the Marvel Universe. I'm like, whatever the official handbook of the Marvel Universe says, that's what it is. And you look at Wolverine,
Right.
it says Hulk 180. I'm like, Hulk 180, that's what it is. And like you said, it's him splattered on the last page. So looking at X-Men, might as well throw that one up too.
Nice. Yes, Mr. Sinister. Another top 10 book right there. I love that cover. Like, I know some people hate it, and that's fine, but I love that cover.
I like that cover too. I think it's an awesome cover. There's an X-Men. There's some X-Men around here. We got some more X-Men. Let's look at some more X-Men keys. I pulled out all the X-Men
Bottom tier
keys.
says the book that released first is the first appearance. Doesn't matter that a book that's supposed to become first in the canon came out after. I agree. Deadpool is in the house. Havoc gives the best hug. Does he? Deanpool. I apologize. Deanpool. That's funny. That's funny though. Ooh, nice. I like that cover.
First Gladiator and Starjammers.
Okay. I was wondering because I couldn't place it in my head, but yeah, that's awesome. Does that say
Archangel?
That's not a first appearance, by the way, in my opinion.
It's
23
not.
is the first appearance, in my opinion.
But this one's the money book, though, isn't it?
No, it absolutely is, and I get why, because it has the better cover. Like, don't get me wrong, 23's cover's like okay, it's not the best, and that absolutely is superior to 23. But if we're talking about first appearances, 23, the only argument you could say is that like his face is covered, but the whole costume and everything else you absolutely see everything else. So nice. That's a first appearance to me.
Yes.
The other one is a cameo or a glimpse. I like to call them glimpse. But yes, I agree. That's a first. Look at you killing it with all these books. Hot damn, Mr. Akins.
First
Gladiator.
I mean, first Guardian.
Guardian, that's it.
Vindicator.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if you got that one, you're going to have to do the John Byrne homage to it.
Nice.
Nice.
Which one do you like better?
Which one of these do I like better? I like the John Byrne one better, but and I didn't pull it out, but I like the Arthur Adams. There was Classic X-Men, which is where I really read all my John Byrne X-Men, because I just didn't. They weren't available. They weren't on the racks everywhere I was looking, because they just weren't, a big. They just weren't selling, and that time, and so I picked up Classic X-Men to read all my John Byrne X-Men, and I like Arthur Adams' rendition of this cover better than any of them. Now, this one I think I like better than this one. I think Wolverine's, how he's hitting Wolverine in his head, the way it's really jacked up, but I like this one better.
I like I'm with you. I'm with you on the head of Wolverine. Like it looks more right in that one. Wolverine's head. I like the posture of Guardian's head, the way he's looking in the original though, better. And I like the colors around the it seems like the trade dress pops more in the original.
Yes.
In my opinion.
The trade dress does, yes.
So 100% Cliff, 100%. All of those, yes, absolutely. First cover, yes. I'm 100% with you. I can't. There is no argument there. Like no, I'm with you, 100%. Bottom tier. I just want first Sinister for the cover. Wolverine really tests me when it comes to not making cover buys, right? Yeah, no, I'm with you. Sinister. Like, when he finally does have his first cover appearance, it's a good one, but it's definitely not on his first appearance. Jubilee, I don't like that cover.
Oh, I hate this cover. You're right. I don't like it either.
I like it better than Rogue's, but I don't like that cover. Like,
yeah. And this is one of the ones I sent off, didn't clean or press it. I'm probably going to pop it out and just keep it raw. Learn my lesson about, hey, you got to clean and press these things before you send them in.
Why are you going to pop it out, though?
Huh?
Why are you going to pop it out, though?
I just would rather have it raw because it's not.
Oh, okay.
It's not a favorite. It's not a great cover. And I pulled this one down, and I'm like, this cover's stupid.
Let me ask you this. Would it be better, though, for you to sell it graded at an 8.5 and pick up another one, or just pop that one out? Like, what?
Probably.
Like, I don't know. I don't know if you've looked at it or not. But like, would that be a better transaction, though?
I don't know. That might be a better transaction. You're right. Might be.
I have no idea. I have no idea. I have not looked at that book as far as it's been a bit for me. So, Cliff says classic X-Men has some banger AA covers. What are AA covers? What am I missing? I'm missing something here. AA. What's going on?
Double entendre?
Huh? Explain yourself, Cliff. I don't know what AA means.
We've been waiting for this a long time. Explain yourself, Cliff. Arthur Adams covers. Okay, classic X-Men. Arthur Adams covers. Yes.
Got you. I actually snubbed my nose up to classic X-Men. I'm really bad about that. Like, I see them and I'm like, pff, and I just keep going. Like, I don't pay attention to classic X-Men at all, and that's probably bad on me, honestly, because like I know they're reprints, and so that bothers me a little bit inside, and so I don't mess with classic X-Men at all.
The thing about it, it's not a complete reprint. Like, they'll do panels, and then they will add panels to the story by different artists to kind of add to the story. And at the end of it, they have extra material that adds on to, like, what was Charles Xavier doing while this was going on. And so that's what I like about it. I love the Arthur Adams covers of them, and I like that aspect of it because it's going to give you more information or an expanded story as opposed to just the original one.
That's even more so why I can't mess with those, because then I'd have to have like all of them as well, and like I'm already dreading, because like in the back of my mind I'm like, I really want to collect the X-Men, and I'm already dealing with the fact that at some point in time, and I can't remember the number range, but the X-Men went into hiding, and so like X-Men number whatever till you get closer to when Wolverine and all of them join in, the new X-Men come in, those were all reprints. And I'm like, there's no point in collecting those. Like, even though they continue the numbering, they're just reprints. And so,
Right.
like, adding classic X-Men into that would just be a whole kerfunkel, and I cannot do that. Like, I cannot, absolutely cannot do that.
It's too much, man. It's too much.
But you get it, apparently. Mr. Akins gets it.
Yeah. I pulled out all the keys. So I'm going to keep on going with keys.
Yes, keys. Monica Rambeau. Does anybody care about Monica Rambeau? Do you care about Monica Rambeau?
I do.
You
I
like
like
Monica Rambeau?
this version of Captain. See, this is my version of Captain Marvel. When I was reading,
Right.
this was my version of Captain Marvel. And
I have to remind people that like she was there first. Like that Carol's not Captain Marvel. She is not the first Captain Marvel. That Monica Rambeau was not the first Captain Marvel. She was the first female Captain Marvel. Like, let's get this stuff straight. Like,
right. You know, and I mean, we can go ahead and Arthur Adams. I loved her character. I loved her in the Avengers. I thought she had a cool power set. She even became the leader of the Avengers for a while. And so she's a cool character.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So
this was. Here's another key. I got this one.
Yes. I totally got mine all nice and ready and sent it out, and I can't flip it for the life of me. I can't. I literally can't flip mine. Like, it's a really nice grade, but it was my daughter's. It was my oldest daughter's. That was like her first hero that she loved, and I bought her the entire 1 through 25, and I still own it all to this day. And I got #1 graded, and I cannot freaking let it go because it was hers. I can't let go of the whole set because it was all hers, and I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Stupid.
I saw you have one of these.
I just picked one of those up. I did for like 50 cents. It was awesome.
Ooh, nice.
Right? I need to press it and flip it. First Terrax the Tamer, Herald of Galactus.
Tell me when you're ready. You checking the chat?
Oh, I'm always checking the chat. Let's see. Bottom tier says, I collect Marvel Comics Presents. I'm a hypocrite about classic X-Men. That's funny. Yes! Was that first Cyborg, first Raven, first Beast Boy, if I remember right?
First Cyborg, Raven, and oh my goodness, Starfire.
Starfire, that's it. Starfire. Yeah, somebody was saying first Teen Titans, but that's actually in Brave and the Bold. But yeah, I remember.
It's the Teen Titans. All the kids, you know, when you see Teen Titans Go, the cartoon, it's those guys.
Right.
So
is that a preview in there, or are they actually in like a story?
It's a preview. Because this
I
came
need
out.
to,
it's almost like a reprint of what came out later on. So this is their true first appearance because it's a preview of it. But this little story right here came out in New Teen Titans number, I can't remember, but this preview came out.
Mr. Akins, we may argue about this. I'm just letting you know.
What? Oh, the fact that it's not a first appearance.
I don't consider previews a first appearance.
I mean, when you have, see how many pages it is.
I mean, that looks like a whole book, not a.
That's what I'm saying. So you got this page, and then you got this page, and 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 this page.
So what are you missing from the original? So what are you missing then in the other one?
You're missing nothing.
So it's the whole book?
It's pretty much. It's almost the whole book. Yeah. It's a preview.
Cliff is yelling. What? Stop yelling at me, Cliff.
It's a story, man.
It's a story. It's a first. The story is mostly Raven and Robin. I've never seen that book. I have never held that book. I know nothing about it other than what I've heard from other people. But somebody was saying something about it being a first with it being the preview. But I'm very anti-preview. Like for me, first are not in previews. Like Miguel O'Hara, hit like Amazing Spider-Man 365. That's not a first appearance for me for Spider-Man 2099. Actually, Spider-Man 2099 #1 is the first appearance for me. But in 365, it's only a 5-page preview. Now, if you could sit there and have an entire story, then I could see that being absolutely a first preview. So,
Okay.
Teen Titans, let's go.
This one says it's a preview pullout of Captain Carrot and his amazing Zoo Crew. Is this a first appearance
Captain
then?
Carrot. Nice. Is it a post? Is that what we're saying? It's a poster?
No, it's just like this one. It's like a whole story in there. It's a preview pullout. It's a whole story in here.
I'm so confused now. I have no idea what's going on, and I'm off the rails.
Well, they did these back in this time period because this sucker's thick. And so
I don't know how I feel about my first Sonic the Hedgehog preview insert. I told you at the con, people slab that thing, man.
This is a whole story.
Let us make a point. If one page of Wolverine is his first appearance, then my lord, that's their first appearance, right? Right?
Right. I think it
funny.
is.
Cliff, thank you, Lettuce.
Thank you, Lettuce. We should all thank Lettuce. Thank you, Lettuce.
I will die on that. Spawn #1 is greater than Malibu Sun magazine Hill with previews. I've never seen Malibu, but I've heard everybody talk about it. It's just a preview. So I got first Captain Carrot for my birthday one year. That's nice. All caps for 22 for the rest of. That's great. If that's a one-page preview where it's like next time in Action Comics meet, then I don't count that. But that's 3/4 of a book, man. Right? No,
Yes.
I'm with you. I've never seen the inside. I've never seen the inside of that DC Presents. So I had no idea what was in there. So yeah. That's an interesting one. I need to look more into that one. That's pretty cool. Frankie, what's going on, Frankie? Thanks for coming and hanging out with us today. New Teen Titans #16. Fire. Right.
Right.
Cool beans.
George Perez. Probably second or third favorite artist of mine. George Perez.
Second or who would? Okay, so if he's third, who would take second?
Jack Kirby. More than likely.
Okay. It's so weird, but and I don't know if it's an age difference thing or what, but Jack Kirby, Perez, John Burt, none of those enter my top 5.
Well,
that's crazy. It's crazy to me.
Well, and I know, but I think there is an age difference between us, and I can see what, when I watched you and Dale, there was a lot of new stuff, newer comics, and yeah. I loved like you, that Iron Fist cover he showed. That sucker is pure, absolute fire. I want that cover, and but these have a nostalgic also aspect for me, like you with those. I think there are just so many new artists that are so cool that would probably creep in there. It's just that I don't have as much connection with them as I do with these others. Yeah. And so I'm looking at those and that Iron Fist cover, I'm like, I want that Iron Fist cover. All these YouTube videos are just commercials for me to buy comics. Is all it is.
Right.
Somebody will show something, and I'm like, I think the difference is nowadays I'm buying stuff that may be newer things and it may be cover buys, but I'm not reading the story inside. And a lot of these, I'm reading the story inside.
No, that's 100%. Like, and that's even for me. Like, a lot of stuff will be cover buys, and I will never touch. Like, I'm not worried about what's inside at all because I'm just buying just for the cover.
Bought this for the cover.
Oh
Did not
man, that's an
read the
amazing
inside of
one.
it.
That's
I
an
don't even know
amazing
what's on the
one.
inside of it. I was like, this is an amazing cover. This looks like a picture
Right.
that somebody took.
Right.
And
Who's the
I can't
artist
even
on that? Do you know?
I don't know. See, is it Campbell? I don't know.
Talking about
Somebody's
Jay
going to
Scott.
tell
That's not
us.
Jay Scott. I don't know who that is. I'm
But it's
interested though.
just it's an amazing cover. I love Mary Marvel as a character, but it's like a picture, dude. I'm like,
No,
this is
yeah,
amazing.
I remember that. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Switch
So
Comments, what's going on, man? Thank you for coming and hanging out with us this evening. Appreciate you very much.
I bought that one for the cover. I bought this one for the cover.
Ooh, that's a good one,
This
man.
is amazing cover.
Is that
I've
art
not
germ?
read. Huh?
Is that
I don't
art
know.
germ?
I think this is art germ. I think you're right. I think this is. I don't know. I just like the cover.
Right, right. No, I'm with you on that. I'm 100% with you on that. Like,
I think this is art
man,
germ.
that
This
is
is just
awesome.
beautiful.
I like that.
It's a
Yeah.
beautiful piece of artwork.
Right, right.
So I do buy newer things. You know, it's like those shiny lures. Here's one of my favorites. This one's absolutely amazing. I love this one. A newer.
Oh yes, Power Girl. That was a good one. That was a good one.
I like the one that has the trade dress on it better than the Virgin variant on this one. I don't know
I
why.
can see that.
It gives
Well,
it
I
that
think
something
it just
extra.
makes that. I think it gives it depth, and it just kind of like it just pops off that white background with her white suit. Like, no, I like the trade dress on that one. That was nice.
So yeah, I am buying some newer things, but I don't seem to read the newer ones like I do the older.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
find something
No, I'm
else.
with you on that.
I think this
Lettuce
is
says, "Can't believe you haven't read every comic book ever. You absolute fraud."
I am a fraud. It is collecting uncensored.
Phil Jimenez is my GOAT, but I was born in 1989, so I think that plays a part. Lobo 20 is my GOAT cover. Nice. Nice. Frankie says, found a Jack Kirby signature inside a giant size Fantastic Four number 5 in a dollar bin.
What?
Wow. Wow. That's insane.
That's amazing.
Insane. I assume okay, it's on the inside. So yeah, I was going to say, it's cool finding those that are on the inside because that's what like people used to do was like because that's how book writers used to do it. They wouldn't sign the covers; they'd sign the inside of the page. So that's awesome, awesome. Cliff loves Phil as well. Ooh, we got so much checking up to do. Jeez and Pete's. That's why I have a top 5 modern artists and then my top classic artists. Okay.
I remember him saying that because I remember when you were interviewing him, he said, yeah, I put him in my top modern artist. And then you went, modern? I mean, I want artists overall.
That's funny. Cliff's history of Wonder Woman work is insane. Talking about Phil, amazing. Dear God, that Mary Marvel is good. Right? Yeah. Switch says the artist name is next to the barcode. Okay, cool. That art germ Loki is killer. I agree. Absolutely. Yes. Everybody saying it's art germ. DC puts cover artist name next to the barcode. Very useful. I agree. That is useful.
Joshua
so is
Middleton.
it by the barcode?
Yeah.
Joshua Milton. Nice. Nice. That's solid. Solid guy. Lowell is Power Girl. Okay. I don't know who that is. It's got artistic flair that she's in front of the trade. Yes. There's some newer books that are excellent right now. There are some. He-Man 22 comments. We will cover Fauna X when I appear. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yes. Yes. Jeremy Adams is killing it. Conan the Barbarian from Titan Comics is fire. I've not read any of that. Middleton, I should have known that. Great cover. I agree. Cliff, I cannot wait to wait for you to be on Uncensored, right? Warren Lowe is the artist name for the Power Girl, I think. Okay. I've not heard of that name, but that's a fantastic cover. Fantastic cover. Well, Mr. Akins, you got anything else for us?
Well, we got 9 minutes. What about some George Perez?
Absolutely, we can make time for George Perez. Are you kidding me right now?
First time I saw George Perez was with Teen Titans.
Nice.
So I love his work with Teen Titans. But George Perez
isn't that a Transformer Wheeljack? That's a bad Jack joke.
Wheeljack, that's who did the Power Girl.
Okay. Nice.
But George Perez is also the master.
Stay safe, Will. Or things. Appreciate you coming out.
Of the crowd shot.
Nice. Wow. Yeah, no, he's solid on that. It's like he thrives when there's as many people as can be possible on a cover.
Yes.
Like, yes. Bottom tier says you better show some Donna Troy.
If you show Perez.
Yeah.
Well, she
that
was
in Teen Titans, wasn't it?
Yeah, she was front and center on that one. Let me see what else I got.
It's going to be a busy shaker of an episode. Cliff is going to keep me on my toes. I can't get it back in there. 100%.
Let's do I think these would probably be my 3 favorite pieces of George Perez artwork. This one.
Oh, yes.
This is a masterpiece.
Absolutely.
I think that's an absolute masterpiece. The LCS, when I was in college, had the promotional poster for this, and I still have the promotional poster for this.
Oh, awesome.
And it's just so awesome and so cool. So I think this is an awesome piece of artwork. I think this is an awesome piece of artwork.
Right.
That is, to me, amazing. I mean, you got everything right there.
Nice.
But a piece of George Perez artwork that people don't usually show off, that I think is absolutely amazing, is this right here.
Oh, wow. I've never even seen that.
This was the original. They were going to do a Avengers JLA crossover, and it never did come about, the first one. And this is some of the artwork from that. And this is absolutely amazing. I would love to have a poster of this because it's got everybody on it. And it's just amazing.
Right? That's insane. That's awesome. Fantastic.
So,
Perez was on Infinity Gauntlet. Where have I been? Yeah, Cliff definitely wrote busy and nothing else. Yeah, I'm sorry, Cliff. I didn't know that, but and I'm not sure that I know exactly what all that means, but I'm kind of scared right now. No, nobody's getting at me. I'll say that much. Nice. Yes.
I think during the crisis, he was at the top of his game as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So he had that. Go ahead.
That seems like it's like top 5 of his work right there is Crisis, if not top 3. You know what I mean?
Because he had all those iconic covers during that run like this that people homage.
Right.
If people are homaging your stuff or plagiarizing, as we've been calling it, you know you're doing something right then.
Right? That's fantastic.
That's a great one.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the one with all the villains is a great one as well.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. Oh, that's cool.
Another crowd shot that he's a master at. Like you said, you can
Yeah, I
sit there
don't
and
think
look at it and pick out stuff for days out of that thing.
that's fantastic. Switch says my favorite cover from Perez is probably Avengers 196 first task match. Ooh, I didn't know Perez did that. That's
Oh yeah,
cool.
he did.
Bottom tier. I knew you were a good guy, Cliff. Crisis rules. Cliff says Crisis over Infinity Gauntlet. Don't at me. You know, I will have to say I have not read Crisis, but I have read Infinity Gauntlet, and I really didn't see the hype that everybody talked about. Like,
Mhm.
I got the Thanos part of it, but outside of that, I really didn't get the hype that everybody else talked about with Infinity Gauntlet. So I cannot wait to read Crisis and see if I actually get the feels for that one.
I don't know. I've reread it here recently, and I guess you have to have. I think it can be difficult for somebody that's not a DC fan because there's just so much packed into it that if you're not like a little bit versed in the characters before this time period and what they were trying to do, that there's just so many characters and so much going on. There are some very cool moments in it, but I don't know if I could pick one above the other. I like both of them.
Yeah, I can't wait to actually read Crisis though to see, because like I said, my standings with Infinity Gauntlet is like it's fairly low. It's not like I don't even care to have a trade of that. I don't care to collect the floppies of it. If I found number one, if for a good buy, I would absolutely grab that. But outside of that, like I don't have enough feelings for it. I don't care much about it. So Perez co-created Taskmaster and Death. I didn't know that. I'm all about learning. I will be the first one to admit I do not know everything. Absolutely nowhere near knowing everything. And I will learn absolutely every single day. I'm here to learn all the time, all day. So thank you for that.
One of my favorite George Perez covers from one of the most
Ooh,
controversial
nice.
comics ever. I love this, again, crowd shot.
Why is that one of the most controversial comics ever?
It's the this is the comic book where um the way Immortus came into the world, our timeline, is that this is going to be horrible. I'm glad this is uncensored because this is horrible. He he impregnated Carol Danvers with himself so that he could be born into this time frame.
Nice.
So, but then it gets worse. So then when he's born, he grows up really quickly and they become a couple and they leave. So she's actually like, it's so messed up. and it's just so messed up. If you want to learn, watch a YouTube video about Avengers number 200. And then Avengers Annual 10 is like Chris Claremont scolding the Avengers and what Jim Shooter had done and some other people that had signed off on this about the Avengers letting this happen. You know, they let him go, oh, well, she's in love with Marcus and they're going to go off and be happily. I'm like, is this dude? You're like, just let her go off with this, you know. This dude raped her, impregnated her, and then became her lover, and they left into this other dimension, and it's crazy. So Avengers Annual 10 kind of is the complement to this. So I would, if you really want to learn about it, I would watch it. Just say Avengers number 200, and boy, stuff will pop up. It's
scared.
insane.
Dale, have a good evening. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Appreciate you. Also, Marco, he says he's got to run as well. Appreciate you coming out and hanging out, man. Thank you very much. You have a good evening as well. Yeah, no, that's crazy. I knew nothing about 200. Like, I didn't know that was a thing. I knew that there was something with Star Fox, and was it She-Hulk, or was it... No, She-Hulk was representing him, but wasn't it with Carol again?
It may have been. I know what you're talking about, and I didn't read that comic, but I knew that
I didn't either.
Yeah. This one was bad.
That's crazy.
And it's funny, I loved this as a kid. I didn't realize what was going on. I mean, I'm like, not that big of a deal, but.
Doug says he bought a 196 as a kid, and when I grew up, I got it graded. It's a 5.5, but I still love it. It sounds like you, Mr. Akins. Y'all got a lot in common.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. No, the She-Hulk defending Star Fox has nothing to do with... I thought he he was in court or whatever because he seduced somebody using his powers, though. Isn't that what it was about, Cliff?
I think that's
what it was. Do you remember that, Mr. Akins?
Yeah, I think I didn't know who it was, but I think he, used his powers to seduce somebody, and I think that's the reason he was in court.
Yeah,
but I didn't know if it was Carol or not.
Yeah, I thought it was another super person, but maybe not. That much is true. That's funny. Oh, all right.
Okay. We're at the 2 hour mark. No, we're at the 2 hour mark. You got to go to work tomorrow. I don't.
I'll be all right. I've already had however much liquor. I'll be okay. I am all empty, though.
No, I spent all day getting comic books together. I'm like, I got too many comic books.
I didn't realize those were plastic bins behind you. Like, I'm impressed with that. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of bins.
Yeah, I think I've got 2,000 comics.
I didn't realize he had I thought he could control them, though. I thought he could control his pheromones. Rogue took Carol's power, and now the sicko violates her. Poor Carol. Right? Right? Don't tell Jeremy. # don't tell Jeremy. So, those of you who listen to the podcast, y'all know. Cool. So you don't have anything else you want to show off?
Nah, we're at the 2 hour mark. I mean, I got a whole rack full of stuff. Nah, we're good.
This is your show, Mr. Akins.
No, this is 22 show. We're just living it.
No, we're simply on my channel. This is your show, though.
No, I think 2 hours of me showing comics is enough for everybody.
I had a blast, so I hope everybody else did as well. Please let us all know what you've got coming up.
Right now, I haven't been doing too many videos. I've been doing a lot of shorts here lately. What I'm planning on doing is doing a couple of videos and having some stuff in the can that I can put out. And what I've been working on here lately is I took the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, and I'm going down each entry and seeing whether or not I have their first appearance. And if I don't have their first appearance, I take out the comics where I was first introduced to the character. Like the very first one is the Abomination. And so I show the comics. I don't have Abomination's first appearance, and I talk about what his first appearance is. If I don't have it, give you a picture of it. But then I show the comics that I was introduced to the character by. And so
that's cool.
Kind of a way of showing some books. I'm like, and then it gives me, I always have to have a focus because in the past I've done things. If you want to be a real fraud, I had a series called, the 5 Ages, and I would show, oh, I'm going to show a comic from the modern age, but I don't have any golden age comics. So I had to like, well, here's a reprint of a golden age comic. If you really want
Yeah.
fraudness, that's fraudness. And I'm like, if I'm really going to show that, I need to, and so I'm trying to figure out something that's unique to me. And what other way I can be unique is like, hey, here are the comics I was introduced to this character when I was a kid. Abomination was in Hulk. I have those Hulk comics over there, and I can show those. And it's a way of showing maybe some comics that don't get showed all the time, or comics that are what's personal to me about these comics. As I'm getting some more comics in, I think I need to do some unboxings. So I'm probably going to take like a month and not do anything, and then July slowly start rolling some stuff out then. But until then, I'll do some shorts, just some shorts. If you go to my channel, I'm going through my entire X-Men collection, showing them 4 at a time as far as shorts go. So those will roll out like every 2 or 3 days. I'll put another one out.
Good night, Cliff. You have a good evening. Appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. I love your banter. So thank you very much.
Is that who you have on next? Is Cliff?
That is. I was gonna wait and show, but since we're there, let's go ahead. And yes, of course, there's you right here. It's been fantastic 2 hours. Next up is Cliff on comics, so be sure to come out and hang out with him. This man is an encyclopedia of freaking comic book knowledge. It's insane what all he knows, and I'm so excited to have him on and just understand like how he collects and what he's collecting and things like that. So super, super exciting. In 2 weeks, come check out and hang out with us again with Cliff on comics. So that is awesome. I'm with Bottoms here. I think your idea of like showing your first appearance of that character and relating it to the first appearance that it actually is, that's a really cool idea. That's pretty awesome. And like you said, showing off books that not other people have actually seen. So I love it. I love that idea. I think that's awesome. So I can't wait to see some of those.
Yeah, like you said, something unique, and it kind of goes with the title of my channel. It says My Personal Comic Book Journey. So it's like, hey, and then that gives me like a focus. I go through I do the first issue of the official handbook of the Marvel Universe. Then I know to go to the next one. It plus also keeps me focused, so I'm not pulling out a bunch of comics. I'm pulling out these comics, and I can kind of do that little short thing, and then I can put those comics back where they belong. And I have stuff thrown everywhere.
Right. That's great.
There for a while, I was doing a lot of Alan's cover challenges, and it was messing my collection. I couldn't find things. I was like, I was pulling stuff out from everywhere to meet the challenge. Then I'm like, I got to put all the stuff back up. And I was like, this keeps it focused and not as many that I have to pull out.
Yeah, no, Alan, because he's wanting like specific things, specific covers and stuff like that. His challenges were extremely hard to like actually get into and figure out, like, especially if you've got a collection, which I think your collection is actually bigger than mine, but like even at my size, I'm like, that's so many books to go. I don't know what every cover looks like in my collection. Like, how am I supposed to just go find that stuff? Like, that's not how my collection works.
That's not how my collection works. I like that.
Aaron, what's going on, man? We're finishing up, but I appreciate you coming and hanging out, dude. Be sure to check out Mr. Akins. All his links will be down in the bio below. Amazing channel, like I said. Fellow statesman, Iron Brethren right here. Awesome to have him on this evening. Jonathan, you have a good evening. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us this evening. Also, Lettuce, y'all, you have a great night as well. Thank you for coming in and out. Missed cover challenges, the community seems to have gotten over them. Yeah, because like there was like Cole's Comics Claim and Bearded Comic Bro, they used to do cover challenges every month. Alan did them as well. There's a good bit of them. So, well, cool, Mr. Akins. We'll be looking out for all those awesome videos you got coming up, the shorts, and as well as the your first appearances, which is pretty cool. I'm really excited about that idea that you have. Doug, you have a great evening as well. Thank you very much for coming and hanging out with us. Let's see. We talked about. Oh, Aaron's gone as well. Thank you, Aaron, for coming and hanging out. We talked as well as that Cliff would be coming up next, so y'all be sure to come out next week. And you got anything else, Mr. Akins?
That's it.
Cool. All right.
I do have
thank y'all for hanging out. Do what?
I said I do have other stuff, but we're done for the night. We're calling it.
Thank y'all very much. Y'all have a great evening. And see y'all, if not this coming up Monday for the top 10 alternatives, then see y'all next Collecting Censored in 2 weeks. Thank y'all very much. And as always, y'all have a good one.